Hi, I'm Mal from the Money Study, and what we've got here is the thing called the Take 10 Challenge. And this is basically the start. I'm going to explain what it's all about. But before we do, usual thing, there's my disclaimer. It's facts and figures, it's information only, it's not advice in any of the sessions that we generate. Okay, just a bit of background before I kick off with what this is all about. I've come from a situation where my knowledge on finance was poor. In my 20s and 30s, I knew nothing about money. I was continually broke. I had debts up to my eyeballs and literally living from day to day or payday to payday. I was a musician, effectively with 3 kids. Then I got divorced, and we're living in a one-room bedsit with 3 kids, and so it went on. And life was not looking good as far as money was concerned. I didn't know how to get out of the hole I was in. I ended up doing my diploma of financial planning, not for 1 second ever believing I'd ever work in the industry. It was basically for me to figure out how to get out of the hole I was in. Bit of a drastic step, but boy oh boy, I believed I needed to do a drastic step to get out of the absolute mammoth hole I was in. Now, I did the diploma while I was running a little business that was putting food on the table. That was about it. I had a little suburban bookshop at the time, and yeah, it wasn't a great money spinner. I was supplementing it with my muso's wages, and I did this diploma part-time. I must admit, on completing the diploma, I was a bit disappointed in the whole thing. It was very technical, and to me, I struggled in relating big chunks of it to my problem of where I needed to be to get out. And a lot of the course was all about, helping the financial planner to make sure he could do his job and not get sued. All these compliance issues, and but it was all done in a very, very technical jargon, which I just found the whole thing, very disappointing. I struggled to really relate to it on a day-to-day basis. I ended up doing 4 diplomas in finance over the years, but I did find reading books and so forth was, where I basically picked up what I'd call the useful, real financial literacy information there. Trouble I did find initially was that anything I was reading about, that I'd Google stuff and come across information, that it always tended to be some sort of a sales pitch. Whoever put the stuff up on the website, they were trying to sell their product or sell their, their software, or, we can hold your hand for, $5,000 a year, and so it went on. So yeah, it was very, very difficult to get impartial, true financial education without some sort of a bias, depending on who was generating that education. And dare I say, I went round in circles. I was looking at quite complicated strategies. I got involved in some very complex share trading arrangements and day trading and all sorts of other things. But after spending time and reading and more reading, realised that it's not that hard. It really isn't that hard. I mean, making money is all about making some money, earn it, and then effectively spending less than what you earn. Yeah, that makes sense. And taking some of that spare money to put into buying something that makes you money, that can give you some money so you can spend it. It's not tough, but it's obviously a very simplistic overview. But we get bogged down in so many other things doing with money that we just don't see what the big picture is all about. Of course, there's these basic rules of spend less than you earn and so forth. But of course, we need to understand our super. We need to understand the tax rules. We need to understand what we can and can't do and what's out there, and the risks and the rewards and all that sort of stuff to maximise what we're doing. But we've got to get the basics done first, and then we can bit by bit understand where we should be putting our money to just, fine tune everything. But of course, the whole thing is with this is money is only a tool to enjoy our life. It's nothing more. It's nothing more. It's not a magic thing. We shouldn't, it shouldn't be put up there on a pedestal. But by the same token, we need to be in control of it. We need to understand it. But excuse me. But it's not for us to, it is only a tool. It's only a tool. So the trouble with learning about money is our school education system hasn't been wonderful in the regard that, we go to school, we learn more about Shakespeare and 1066 and all this sort of business. Nothing against history. I never was a good history buff. But we learn about mortgages or credit cards or debt or even, what it means to have a phone contract and so forth. Schools are getting better at it. But of course, who's teaching these things? The teachers, are any of them, are they qualified? Are they experienced? What's their own financial situation like? Can they really get enthused about this if in the back of their mind they go, oh, well, I'm broke. I'm living day to day on my teacher's salary, and so it goes on. So most of the schooling that we do doesn't prepare us, and certainly didn't prepare us in my day, that's for sure. And parents just don't help out in the regard that it's very rare that parents do discuss money in front of children, which is, I just can't find the words to find out why that is, in the regard that we try and protect them. I can understand the protection side of the equation, but there's a limit to protection. If you keep on protecting and stopping them from understanding what the real side of money and the problems involved with money, how are we then preparing them for their own lifestyle? And of course, the problem is, how smart are the parents? In the regard that if they start discussing it, are they just discussing it by saying, oh, we can't afford this, we can't afford that, and therefore children understand that life is tough and so forth. So the parents need to understand it first, but then the parents need to help their children to do it differently. My youngest child has grown up with me, and all she's known me as being a financial advisor or a planner or a coach, and hence, we do discuss money, and she is very switched on with money, literally because she just understood it because it was just part of the normal conversation. It seems to be that taboo subject. We'll talk about religion, we'll talk about sex, we'll talk about our sports team, and knowing full well the other person doesn't like it. We're quite happy to tread on dangerous topics with our friends and family, but we won't talk about that one thing which generally it involves every single one of us. It's a common thing. We all have finance problems or issues, or some have got less problems than others, but you get the idea that it's something that we all deal with on a daily basis, but we find it impolite to talk about it. And I don't know why. Why is it impolite to talk about? We're quite happy to go out and drive in our flashy car, and dress to the nines and so forth. Isn't that sort of talking about our money in an obtuse sort of way? How many books have you read recently that are concentrating just on money? How are you applying yourself to really, go forward with your money? So the smarter you are, the more things you'll know that you don't know. And that's the part we just don't know what we don't know when it comes to money. And can I do that? I didn't know I could do that. So say my clients and so forth. But, we'll talk about anything and everything, but not our finances. We even take stock tips, you get someone to Barbie talking about some stock and you're happy to go, oh yeah, I'll do that, without even understanding what the dickens that is all about. You just heard someone, I should be buying lithium stocks because of, electric vehicles. Have a look what lithium's done price-wise in the last few weeks here in the early 2024. That source of the information Where did they get their knowledge? And is it actually, are they really living the life of this person that can give out that sort of information? How are they really doing? And so it goes on. And we only hear about the good things that happen to them, not the bad things and the bad decisions and so forth. But people spend far more time, getting online to research their new TV to find out all the features and get absolutely every aspect of their new telly or their new car or whatever they're going to buy. They'll spend hours and hours reviewing and shopping around and doing whatever they can to make sure that they've got this new thing that has got all the bells and whistles that they want. But when it comes to their super fund, they don't even know what scheme they're in. They don't know what their portfolio is. They don't know where their money's invested. They don't know the risks they're taking on. And yet your super, for many people, could be the probably outside of your house, the second biggest asset you own, and some people will be the biggest asset you've got. And yet they spend absolutely zip time on that particular issue. So it's humans. We are funny people. So I'm here to give you a challenge, and I'm hoping to be able to help you. And I'm going to call this the Take 10 Challenge, and it's aimed at people who say to me, I haven't got enough money, I'm not good with money, I don't understand money, I'm not good with maths, and all these sorts of things. What a load of rubbish. You can change, you can learn, you can study, you can do whatever you like to improve. It's just a belief, and generally beliefs change with education. The more that you learn about something, those old myths and so forth, you can just drop them into the rubbish bin. So my challenge to you is to start investing in yourself. And I want you to take 10 minutes a day, and ideally every day, 10 minutes a day to start learning about money. Now, obviously, some people are starting at a higher level, but that's okay. That's okay. I think everybody can learn more. And I certainly would spend more than 10 minutes a day learning about money. And do I need to? Probably not. But I've got to the point where it's now my hobby. And I'm passionate about this whole thing. I've come from a very dismal place financially, very dismal. And by learning, I've turned my life around completely. So I'm not a superhero here, but I really would love to be able to turn some people's lives around and help them out. So we find time to exercise, hopefully. We get on our bike, we do our yoga, we do our stretching and so forth. We check our diet, perhaps. We do some crosswords, perhaps, to keep the mind sharp, stop our mind from rusting. We get on social media to keep our spirits up and to see what our friends are doing and feel connected and so forth. That all takes time. Well, even one of those things, we're quite happy to spend time on getting our body into gear and our mind into gear and our soul into gear. We go to church and we do all these things that, effectively are assisting our overall growth, but then we don't spend any time on our money unless it's either too late or we're just doing desperate catch-up. So if we spent 10 minutes, that's less than 1% of your day, less than one, I think 15 minutes is about 1%, something like that. So we're going to spend less than 1% of your day doing something, okay? Now, it could be you've got yourself a book and you read a chapter a day. Or you might have Money Magazine, or you've got the Financial Review, or some sort of newspaper, or something that you've got something to read, be it a chapter or an article or something about it. You can jump on YouTube, and because this is where I'm going to be putting a lot of my videos is on YouTube. Now, you don't have to use mine, but I'm going to certainly create some here that you can use to prompt you. But there is just, you could spend years, literally, just clicking on YouTube videos, everything to do with money. But I say, be careful who you're listening to and what they're telling you. If you've got something, if you listen to one video and you go, wow, just, Google that particular topic just to make sure there's not a countering opinion. Get the overall scenario. Don't just listen to one person. And then when you've heard about something, do a Google search and go looking for that, and do a little bit more looking at it, and just analyse, read, check in, everything we can do. That's all spending time. Now, of course, it may be that on some days you don't spend time learning, you spend time fixing and tuning up what you've already got. So it means that you could take your 10 minutes to look at your bank accounts and find out what interest am I actually making on my bank accounts. Could I be having my money in my bank account earning me more? Have I got too much in my online savings account, or not enough in my online savings account, where I could be putting it into a progressive saver where I can get more higher interest rate? Have I got an everyday account where I'm basically just paying the bills, but it's earning me virtually nothing, when I could be moving a big chunk of that into a more higher level savings account? Should I be looking at some term deposits? Why have I got a couple $100 grand sitting in my bank? Should it be in my super? Should it be somewhere else? Should I be investing it? So looking at what you've already got there. Could be checking out your mortgage rate. Could be looking at your insurances. Checking all of your policies for your home cover, your health cover, and Googling, comparing, and so forth. That's learning. That's learning. And if you were to spend 10 minutes a day every day for the next few weeks going through all of your finances, getting out your bank statements, seeing where your money went, is your balances correct? Are the transactions okay? Is there a transaction there that you didn't know what was all for? Was it higher than what you expected and what you believed? And so it goes on. So we're going to use the time to review our current circumstances. So this is a lot of work, but at 10 minutes a day, this becomes a habit, and it becomes just part of who you are, what you do, and after a while you find it easier. And of course, the easier it gets, the more enjoyable it becomes. And when it becomes enjoyable and you start to see the benefits of it, then we start to get a little bit excited, and we might spend 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or people like me who sit on the beach and read a book on superannuation. I got told by a lady in Adelaide I needed to get a life when I was sitting in the shade reading a book on the Australian share market. But we're all different. But I don't expect you to get that crazy. But it certainly had its benefits. That is for sure. So I will be posting often as I can. I'll call it a Take 10 video, which you can then listen to that, which will prompt you to go and do something or learn something or whatever it may be. Any time that there isn't a video you want to watch, take that time to go and investigate your own situation. Take the time to go to the library and get some books, or go to the newsagents and buy some magazines or something. Okay, so that's the challenge. That's the challenge. Now, I'm looking to see how we go, and I'd love to hear your stories, love to hear your feedback, coming back to me, ideally, 6 months, 12 months, or whatever it may be, to sort of see if we've made inroads here. And I'm looking at some form of reward or a competition or something that I can pat you on the back with. But there's my challenge. I'll put it out there, and good luck. And if you ever need any sort of, sometimes a point in the right direction, you always just flick us an email there at admin@themoneystudy.com.au. Good luck, everybody.